What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Players Only podcast on Skyline Gray Sports Radio. I'm your host, Kortokrax.
And I'm Reagan, Milliken.
And today we've got a special guest. Tell me your name.
I'm Sam Hackenbracht.
My hero, Sam Hackenbracht, absolute stud on the softball team and my hero.
The one and only Sam Hackenbracht.
Yeah, so let's give a little rundown about last week's games, Sammy. We played... Did we play? Purdue. How do you think that series went, Sam?
Purdue. Pretty good.
Pretty good, that's all you gotta say.
I mean, it could have went better. What do you want me to say?
Oh, wait, I think it's good to talk about the bounce back. We lost the first game.
Okay. We did lose the first game. And we fought our way through the second game.
After being down 8-0.
The third inning. It's crazy that we won this game. I still can't believe it.
Yeah, me neither. Then we came back. Ended up winning that series. And now we're headed into Minnesota. And it is senior weekend this weekend. But fortunately for everyone on the team, we get another year of Sam Hackenbracht, right?
That's right.
So was that because you're a senior this year, so was it a hard decision to come back for a fifth year or no?
Nope, but I plan on coming back for my fifth year since my first year got taken away.
Why is it so important, do you think, that you get this extra year because of it being taken away from you?
Well, okay, so my freshman year, obviously we have a really long season. So we got only to spring break, which is like 3 weeks out of the entire season. And as soon as we got to spring break, we play like 3 games. And that's when I first got the opportunity to play, was on that trip. So I started my first game. I hit 2 home runs that weekend. So I realized that I was actually going to play now. And then our season got canceled. So, yeah, I had in my mind that I was going to be a great player at Ohio State and that I was going to take full advantage of my time here.
What was like your first initial thought whenever you heard that COVID canceled your senior?
I don't even remember. It was so bizarre. It was so bizarre. We were all, it was unlike anything ever. You know, they just canceled an entire season and told you, like, you're going home tonight and you're moving out of your dorm tonight. So we literally got on a flight, flew home. My parents came, packed me up, and I went home, and that was that. Like, that was my first year of college.
That's crazy.
It was crazy.
And talking about you saying that you're going to be a great player, let's just talk about this year alone. We just posted on Twitter. We're talking about Big Ten play. And you're leading the Big Ten for total bases, which is 49. You're leading the Big Ten and Big Ten play with 26 hits. And you've got the second best batting average in Big Ten play, which is 473. And then your on base and slugging percentage combined, you're second for that. And then slugging percentage, you're astonishing 891, which is second. And then you're also second for RBIs in the Big Ten and Big Ten play, which is 22. So, Sam, my question to you is, obviously Reagan and I were here for this entirety of the season, and Big Ten play is kind of later on in the year, and you've just absolutely been killing it, which is no surprise to us because, we played with you for, this is the second year now. We know how good you are. Everyone, Buckeye softball. If you know Buckeye softball, you know Sam Hackenbracht. So, what was it kind of like the start of the year? I know it started off slow, which for everyone else, it would have been pretty average. But for you, it would consider slow just because of how good you are and everything that you've accomplished. So kind of talk about where you were mentally to begin the year and how frustrating that was. And then just how you held on and kind of pulled through.
Mentally, I was at my lowest of low. I don't know. Softball for me, my entire life prior to the beginning of this year has always been I stepped on the field and I knew who I was and I knew I was going to be one of the best players. But, coming back from my surgery at the beginning of the year and only having less than a month to actually prepare for the season kind of sent me into shock a little bit, and I didn't really think that would the way it did. So when we first started playing, I couldn't get out of my own head. It was full on panic every time I stepped into the box. So yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. I wasn't myself. I couldn't play like myself. I couldn't relax and be myself on the field. And I've never experienced failure like that in college the way I did at the beginning of the year. So it was just really hard. My dad didn't even know what to do with me, and he's not like that at all. So,
Damn.
yeah, I mean, he cried quite a few tears with me. I'm not gonna lie. It was hard on me. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to respond. I didn't handle a lot of the beginning of the year the correct way. So yeah, thank God we're back.
Well, you're definitely way more than back after we just talked about all of your stats. But you brought up how you got shoulder surgery and how you only had like a month to prepare for the season after coming back for all your rehab and getting fully cleared and everything. You maybe want to talk about how like difficult this like surgery was and like the recovery aspect?
Yeah. Yeah. So when I initially tore my labrum last year and, couldn't catch anymore, and they didn't really let me run or anything either. I was really only hitting. Like even at practice and stuff when we would condition, I wasn't allowed to run. And then I had my surgery and I blew up. I gained probably like 25 pounds. So no, listen, hold on.
We're listening, Sam. It's so broader.
It wasn't like I'm trying to fight my way back, as a player and get back to where I was as a player. But then I just had to work so much harder because I needed to lose, 25 pounds that I had gained from sitting around the entire summer and not doing anything but like my shoulder rehab. And, I wasn't eating the best, but yeah, not doing anything but shoulder rehab all summer. First of all, was way more painful than I ever could imagine. It was awful. But yeah, so I had to work my way back in that aspect too.
I remember the first game last year where you couldn't catch, and I just remember you throwing, warming up, and then you were just like, you just like can't even bear the pain anymore to throw. And then you're like, well, obviously you're Sam Hackenbracht. So first thought is like, all right, we need you to hit. So we need you to be in this DH spot. And it was just funny looking back at the season because literally I think you led every offensive stat we could have possibly had. And then you had a torn shoulder the entire time. So it's just kind of like no one would have guessed. Yeah, it just, people were more like, why isn't Sam catching? And she was still like, just absolutely killing and hitting. So everyone was just like, you couldn't even tell anything was wrong with her based on her stats. And if you came and watched her hit, so it's like, why wouldn't she be catching? But, which is interesting to think about. Do you think, so you don't think it like affected your swing at all last year?
No, and really I think the reason why I had such a great year last year playing with a torn shoulder is because like my mentality was that I didn't have anything to lose. Like in the back of my mind, it was, I'm playing with a torn shoulder. So like, if I don't have success, then this is going to sound terrible, but I was going to blame it on the fact that I'm playing with a torn shoulder. So I played very freely and, like I had nothing to lose. And I think that's what helped me so much. And, obviously it was really painful, but swinging didn't really bother me until pretty close to the end of the year. Like I remember when we got to Knoxville, I couldn't even do my on-deck routine anymore because my shoulder was literally like popping out. It was just, but yeah.
I was being your roommate that weekend. We got to spend some quality time together. Yeah. Literally the night I think it was the night before we lost actually, but we're sitting there and we're just sitting there in our hotel room and she's like, looking up pictures of the doctor rooms where she's going to get surgery. And I'm like, why would you do that? She's like freaking out over there. I'm like, damn, that's the worst thing you could possibly be looking at is where you're going to get surgery. She's like, look at these rooms. I'm like, oh my goodness, Sam. That would just be the farthest thing from your mind right now. But she's over there looking at those right. God, yeah, I don't know many people that would just be thrown into. Yeah, I was like, what? So we talked a little bit about slumps in softball and baseball. Those are sports that it's so easy to like feel like you're getting in a slump because you fail so much in the sport, because like you look at people with 300 batting averages and that's 3 for 10 and that's failing. That's below 50% by a lot of me, and that's good. 3 for 10 is really good. So if you take out and you get down and like you're 0 for 10 and you think like 0 for 10, wow, like that in the long scheme, that doesn't mean that much because you get so many bats a game, but like you're like 0 for 10, oh my gosh, it's so easy to think like I'm going in a slump and everything like that. So I remember earlier this season, you were batting, I think, was it eighth in the lineup? And it's just funny because like I've obviously been, Reagan and I have seen Ohio State softball. We followed for like since before I got here, obviously last year being here and like seeing like her name like eighth in the lineup, like what kind of did that, like what did that like feel like?
Yeah, that for me was like a gut punch. I never thought after my previous years here that I would ever experience no one being, sat and put at the bottom of the lineup. It took a toll on me for a little while until my dad was like, sat me down and he was very honest with me. He was like, you need to be grateful and thankful for the fact that you're in the lineup. Like, you're getting the opportunity to play. You need to change your mindset because you're walking in already pissed off rather than, allowing yourself to be grateful and thankful in that moment and make something of it. And I think that's really when it changed for me, is after he had that hard conversation with me. And I realized, I was like, maybe you're right. Like, I am going about this the wrong way. So
it didn't take very long for you to end up back up at 4. So there she was, and now she still is batting fourth lineup. Like, obviously, we all knew she could totally get it done up there, more than get it done with just her stats. I mean, she is as hitter and everything like that. And like, I remember, I literally tell Sam all the time, like, you're my hero because she's the best hitter last year. I wanted to be in her hitting group all the time because, when you play with the best, you hope that they're going to rub off on you. I even swing Sam's bat. I swing the same bat Sam uses. And like for me, when I got moved up in the lineup over spring break, I was batting third. And for me, it didn't really sit in because I'm a sophomore. It didn't really sit in. I was batting third until I grabbed the bat from Mel in front of me and turned to do it for the person on deck. And it was Sam was the person on deck. And I'm like, what? I'm like, there is no way right now. I'm next to Sam in the lineup. It was like a star. It was like a moment I would just have. Like, I'll never forget. I was like, bro, Mom, I've made it. It was just like one of those moments where I was like, I know how great Sam is. So like having like the honor of just like hitting next to her in the lineup, like that was something like I'll never forget because I tell everyone Sam's my hero. So it's true. Sam's my hero. You talked a little bit about your dad. What's it mean to have a dad that's like so into and so supportive and like goes to literally every trip to like try to watch you play?
And a mom. Well, yeah, my mom too. It's kind of crazy that you asked him that because I've become so like accustomed to him being there and always being so early, which everybody knows.
And that's so early. Oh, wow.
He's there before we even get there. And if he's not there before we get there, then Sam, it's like, what is going on? He like gets out of his car with Maggie Audie's dad, Richard, and they're Richard, and they flap it up.
They've got a bromance
while we're pulling in. It's so funny every time. It's a little, oh yeah. I don't know. So when I was in high school, my dad played football at Michigan State, and he used to try to guide me, and he would tell me these things all the time about college athletics and playing at this level.
And he's a coach. He expects a lot. He's a coaching mind.
Expects a lot. He pushed me to past limits. I feel like all guys are very similar, nonstop. So
yeah, we all
that's his dad. And dads that work in schools. Yeah, and he was crazy. We didn't get along the greatest in high school because I was very,
that
stubborn and didn't want to listen to him.
Indeed, one of his players, Sam. That must have been interesting. Let's talk a little bit about what it was like dating your dad's player. I mean, that had to be some awkward family dinners.
That's funny. So, yeah, my now fiance. Yeah, he's actually in Pittsburgh. So he came in to Massillon. So he didn't know my dad and our reputation as a family. And I didn't really know my dad. My dad is known as the crazy one. Like, my dad is the one that everybody's afraid of. He's the one that makes boys cry, high school boys. Like, he's the one that everyone's scared of. So he didn't really know my dad coming in. And
Were you dating before, like when you came here?
no. That's a funny story. I'm gonna tell it. He was on the sideline at the first scrimmage, and I remember I was sitting next to my mom and my friend who was dating a football player at the time, and I was like, "Who is that? Like, who is that?"
Yeah,
That's
not funny. Yeah, it's a man.
Yes, it was. It was. It really was on the spot, and that was before school started. So like a couple weeks passed, and school starts, and he's in my art class, and I'm like, oh my god, it's him.
Art. No, I'm sorry. You took art and Ty took art. Like that's something I just didn't know.
Oh yeah, definitely took art. Yeah, and we were terrible.
For that doesn't surprise me.
Horrible at it. But yeah, he was in my art class, and it had this history.
The rest is history.
But the first time he came to my house, first of all, I was so scared to ask if he could come to my house for the first time. But my dad, like, didn't know how to react so much that he didn't even come home. Like, he did not come home. He wouldn't come home until Ty was gone because he was so uncomfortable with his daughter having a boy over.
That's like, so pretty bold, not bold, but like brave.
Yeah,
Going for the coaches. Yeah, and I don't know anyone that would have done that in my high school. I didn't even talk to boys in that high school.
I know.
My football player that played for my dad. You know,
right?
No way.
They were like, dude, what are you doing?
Literally. And then I guess it paid off because you guys are getting married. When's that date?
Next summer, July.
It's on my calendar.
Yeah.
Softball, and that will be a funny wedding because, you know, you're obviously a Division I softball athlete, and then Ty played football at ODU. So it's going to be a bunch of tall, big, beefy athletes. You better have the food ready to go.
Oh, yeah, you know.
I know it. Was going to say Dan. So Ty's a big boy, you know, played football and everything. And like, how tall is he? 6'5". How much does he weigh? Okay, big boy. There's just 250, 6'5". But my money's still on Dan. That's all I know. It'll ever happen. My money is still on Dan. I've seen that guy. And Sam struck out looking, and all I got done shooting. I'm just kidding. But money's on. Yeah, for sure. So this year, you're kind of like catching, and you're working back and catching, and it's been kind of. The lineup has been you never know. You never know. Yeah, but you never know. You never know what our lineup's going to be. But how have you just like seen yourself grow? Like, it's crazy to think you're already a senior. Isn't that just a crazy feeling? And I know you have a whole nother year and everything like that, but just like, where do you think you've just grown in the biggest parts of your game? Like, looking back at you, like when you came in as a freshman to now, like being a senior.
Well, okay, so trusting people to change like little things about me as a player was hard for me at first, but once I was able to do that, I think that helped me a lot. You know, when I came in as a freshman, they changed a lot about me as a catcher, a lot. I look like a completely different person behind the plate than when I first got here, so if you would have seen me then, you would understand, but yeah, I don't know.
You just grown in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, you just wait till you're a senior. Man, you won't even be the same person.
Oh, I bet. I already see, like, in everyone, like, when people come in their freshman year and they, like, I just try to tell a freshman now, because you don't know. Well, you come in to see yourself in your class, like, freshman. Like, you don't see, like,
right,
all years before you, like, I can't even imagine, like, your class is freshmen, because they're just, 2 years older than me. I just have, like, looked up for you guys for 2 years now, so it was, like, crazy to think about.
Completely different as a class than when we got here.
Yeah, you take 1 year, and 1 year of, 20-hour weeks and, like, city out game schedule, 3-hour practices a day, individual workouts. You take all that into just 1 year, and you just can't even measure the amount of growth that happens. So when you come in as a freshman, all these people have grown so much. You don't see that fail and that struggle. So when you're here as a freshman, it's like so overwhelming. And I try to tell like Haley, because she's a freshman now who works over me at shortstop. I'm like, Haley, you have no idea just like how everyone goes through freshman year. You're going to be overwhelmed because it's just it's all new. And like these people, everyone is so good. Everyone's so good. Not like Sam Hackenbracht.
No, that's funny that you said that, because I was literally watching when I was feeding balls to Coach Mack today hitting. I was like, wow, like everybody on this field had to be the best to get here. Like, we're handpicked out of camps of how many people come to those camps. Like our travel teams, everybody. Like, we are literally the best. And I was thinking about that today, and it just, I don't know. I don't know if it's because like senior weekend's coming up and I'm just feeling nostalgic that, you know, the people I came in with are about to be leaving, but I don't know. It just really hit me today.
That's true. That is crazy. I didn't think about that. Like the camps is like a really like eye-opening one that you said too. It's like we have Ohio State softball has these camps every summer, and like all these girls go to these camps. Hundreds of girls go to these camps, and like all these girls want to come play softball at Ohio State, and it's just like crazy to think about how, like they all just like handpicked each of us to come. Like the chance of that happening and everything. It's like crazy.
Yep.
It is crazy. But what you said that stuck out to me was like the group that you came into and that you played with for 4 years and watched everyone grow, struggle together, had success together, accomplish everything. A lot of them are leaving. Three that you came in with, and then one that transferred here are leaving. But you and Tegan? Anyone else? Or just you and Tegan staying? Just you and Tegan are staying. So you still got Tigo that's staying here, but how does that feel? Like, what are you feeling like knowing that they're out and they're graduating, they're done, but you still have like, are you like, what do you want to do with your life, Sam? Like, are you glad you still got a lot of time to figure out what you're doing now that like other people are trying to make all these decisions and everything? They're talking about like jobs. I have starting lining up jobs.
Look at like what I'm doing with my life. I don't know.
But you still have time. That's the thing. Like a lot of girls are graduating. They're staying in the locker room today. Even though like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I got a job offer here, but I could also go back home and take. Yeah, but like it's like I don't know. But how good is it feeling knowing like you still have time? Or you still get nervous about it?
Yeah, I'm still nervous about it because it's like real life is so close, and that's so weird because like what we come in here and our focus is being, you know, these elite softball players. I mean, obviously elite in the classroom too, but it's like then you point in your life and watch like real life is about to happen, and softball can no longer be my real life. It's weird.
That is weird to think about. What do you think? You give lessons already. Is that something you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I really want to open like my own place back home.
I think that'd be perfect for you.
I mean, on the radar, not like as my actual job, but
Dan can get in there, help give lessons. You and Ty can go into business. Ty can give football lessons. You can give strength training. Nope. Sam shakes her head no. Not for Ty. Ty's not a lesson. Not for Ty. I can just chef up some dumplings in the back. Ty loves dumpling. This 6'5", 350 guy loves 250. American 50. That was so funny. I'm sorry. Get the numbers. This I'd say it's over. How did I? You know I love you, buddy. Dumpling. Come on. Those accidents happen. All right, Sam. So going into postseason, because we have Minnesota this weekend, Nebraska, and then we're heading into the Big Ten tournament. What are your thoughts going in this Big Ten tournament this year? Like just knowing we had last year, there was a lot of dominant pitchers. I mean, Mitch Dorocco, we had Danielle Williams, and Danielle's back, but I mean, the number is 50-50. Yeah, she's not doing what she's done in the past. So what do you think this postseason Big Ten tournament is looking like?
I think that our postseason, I was just talking about this earlier today, I think that we have actually a very good chance. Like if we approach the game the way that we need to and don't take any at-bats for granted or off, I think that we have a very good chance. And obviously this is a projection, but we're projected to go to Alabama for regionals. And obviously when you say Alabama, it sounds intimidating, like, you know, it's Alabama. But I think that I'll take our odds there against Alabama. I will take our odds against Alabama this year.
Okay, Sam, take your game. I will. Good. Reagan, what do you think postseason Big Ten tournament?
Yeah, kind of just what Sam was saying, like, there's not very many dominant pitchers like there has been in the past in the Big Ten. So I really think, like, the best hitters and, like, having very good defense, like, can take you very, very far in this Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing we've seen in the Big Ten is that, like, teams can hit in the Big Ten. Like, we've got teams that can hit, and we don't have an ace pitcher. I mean, that's just going to help the hitters' odds out even more for what we've seen this year. So I think it just comes down to who shows up during tournament. Tournament's one and done. I mean, the first loss you got, you're done for that tournament, for the tournament. So that's how our Big Ten tournament works, at least. But so just who shows up. And, I mean, our lineup, when our lineup's on, and there's not many teams that we can't compete with, if any teams that we can't compete with when our lineup's on. So I'm excited for the tournament. I think tournament play is one of the most exciting times, Big Ten tournament play especially, because you know all these teams, you played them. I mean, everyone, you're familiar with everyone, so just like everyone there showing out, you can show up when you need to.
It's fun. It's like travel ball again.
I know, it is.
It is. It's like travel ball again.
1 game a day, survive in advance. You got the bracket set up. So yeah, that'll be exciting. So we'll see what goes on for this Big Ten tournament. But any last comments you got, Sam? Just excited for another year.
Yeah.
And a wedding.
Yeah.
That's far off. We don't want to stress her out about anything else.
Far, we have a lot to plan, okay?
Yes, she does.
Some kind of wedding dress you.
I have no idea. One that makes me look good.
Do you know any colors yet?
No, I haven't picked my colors. I'm thinking black and white.
Oh, you can wear your cow slippers down the aisle.
Yes, exactly.
I knew it. There you go. I helped you with one step.
Cake flavor?
Cake flavor?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You have the venue, though. We do have a venue, people.
What is food for the guests?
It's a buffet. That's all I know. I haven't picked any of the food or anything yet.
I love some of that. It's great.
All right. Ty, if you're listening, stay. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Well, only time will tell. We got postseason and a wedding and the brothers Isaiah and Sam's figuring out her career. Where Reagan and I still have 2 more years of school. Just got to get through these exams right now. Thank you guys for listening and join us for another episode of Players Only Podcast on
Scarlet the Great Sports Radio.
Great job, Reagan. And once again, we got Sam Hackenbracht, the famous, my hero. Sam, thanks for joining us today, Sam.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.